Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to be learning all about establishing classroom limits. Limits are necessary to help children effectively work in groups. They promote safety, respect, responsibility, and self-discipline. Effective limits serve as goals of a center. Limits should focus on actions and behaviors that reflect goals. Every area of the classroom will need to have limits, and it's your responsibility as a teacher to explain and enforce those limits. So join me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about establishing classroom limits. There are 3 reasons for establishing classroom limits. First, according to the law, children's health and safety must be protected. Limits are boundaries that teachers establish to help children know appropriate behavior. Second, children feel free to explore when they know their teacher will stop them if they go too far. Thus, they feel protected from mistakes. Finally, limits help children develop self-control. When setting limits for children, make the limits short and positive. Be sure you use the words to describe the exact behavior you desire. Saying, return toys to the shelf, take turns with the materials, handle books gently, instead of things like stop, be nice, behave. For setting classroom limits, be sure to set limits that are reasonable, purposeful, and children can act out. Post the limits in the classroom. Avoid making too many limits. Define acceptable and unacceptable behavior, and re-examine your limits on a regular basis and discuss any changes with the children. Some classroom limits you will see through many early child classrooms are quiet voices, looking eyes, walking feet, listening ears, helping hands, clean classroom, and safe play. Not only are these posted in the classroom, they have visual, graphic, and nonverbal gestures to match. Earlier, I mentioned that every area of the classroom will need to have limits. While the classroom limits are overarching to all aspects of the school day, specific areas and activities need additional limits to help guide the children. Children follow limits best when limits are consistently enforced. This means the consequence of the limit is the same every time. Consistency helps children know what is expected of them. However, children will test these well-established limits, and you should feel comfortable with this testing process at the same time as you're maintaining your position. Enforcing limits are also required to be flexible at times to adapt to the need of an individual or situation. The way you react to children who break limits affects children's feelings of security. What methods can you use to clearly communicate limits to young children? As we already discussed, limits need to be short, simple, and reasonable. Some teachers make this easier by dividing their limits into 3 categories: being safe, being kind and respectful, being neat and responsible. When reminding children about certain limits, teachers use one of these categories and then follow up with an example. Something like this: be neat and responsible, wear your smock when painting. Now let's review what we learned. Limits focus on action and behaviors that reflect the goals of the center. Limits must be made for all classroom areas and for all activities. As the classroom teacher, it is your responsibility to explain and enforce the limits. Limits need to be explained to the children's level of understanding. The staff and children should know what the reasons of the limits are. Limits that are consistently enforced and fair help create a relaxed atmosphere at the center. Limits may need to be flexible to adapt the needs of an individual or situation. These limits should be reviewed on a regular basis and revised as needed. That wraps us up for today's episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me or your instructor. Thanks for joining me, Miss Trott, as we learned all about establishing classroom limits. See you next time.